안녕하세요. I am John Grant and I am from Australia. I hope you can understand me. And it's my pleasure to be here showing the brand new KORG KARMA. In some ways, the KARMA is very much like the Triton. It shares some things with Triton. You can load Triton sounds into KARMA, in fact, and all the effects on KARMA are the same as Triton. But there are some differences. I'll tell you about the added things on the Triton keyboard later, but the Triton special functions, Triton real-time controls are totally unique. Sorry, KARMA real-time functions are unique to KARMA. So let's have a bit of a look across the panel before I show you some sounds, huh? Right here in the center, just to the left of the display, are mode buttons. Combi mode, program mode, sequence, song play modes, global and disk mode, because there is a disk drive on KARMA. These modes are similar to what you'll find on other KORG keyboards. We'll select program mode for now. Way over the right hand side of the display we have bank buttons, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Each bank has 128 sounds in it, so there are a lot of sounds on KARMA. A and B banks are filled up with sounds from the factory, but they are user banks too. If you want to overwrite them, that's okay. C and D are empty. They are ready for expansion boards that can go into the Triton. They're going to KARMA. And E is another bank of factory sounds. F is available if you want to add the MOS board into KARMA. MOS board is the physical modelling board from KORG with fantastic analog and other physical modelling synth sounds. And lastly, the G bank is the for GM sounds, because KARMA uses GM level 2 sounds if you want GM. And in combi mode, these bank buttons also work to select banks of combis. 6 banks of combis. Again, A and B with factory combis, C and D left blank ready for expansions, and E with factory sounds, F combis using the MOS board. Underneath the program bank buttons are the sequencer controls, because there is a sequencer on KARMA as well. A keypad, so you can call up sounds or call up parameters. Compare button. If you get lost while you're programming, you can always compare the sound to what it was originally before you started editing. Nice looking display here with function buttons underneath, so you can access different tabs down the bottom of the screen by pressing the function buttons. Yeah? And the cursor up, down, left, right buttons here can help you find your way around the display. It's easy. There's actually 4 different ways that you can edit things on KARMA. There's the value slider here. There's the up-down buttons. There's this data wheel. And there's the keypad, which you can put in a number and just hit enter. And there's actually a 5th way. If you're editing something that needs a key input, such as a split point or key window, you can, if you want, hold down the enter button and press a key, and instantly that becomes the parameter. Very easy once again. KORG is a pretty smart company after all. Tempo knob here. And let's skip over these for the moment and come right over here to the left hand side. and these functions here will be familiar to you if you have seen the Triton. This is the joystick, of course, switches that you can use to change effects or change sounds, and real-time controls that you can use to change sounds. Fixed filter cutoff and resonance, the filter sweeps there, or assign your own parameters to these knobs here and do what you'd like to do. Above them up here is this little flap. Isn't that nifty? Look. Let's close it. Open. Et voila. It's, that was French. It has two slots here for expansion boards. They're the same expansion boards that you can put inside the Triton, so there are already 5 to choose from, and KORG will have more in the future. When you put in expansion slots here, you get a floppy disk with programs and combis, and as I said just a moment ago, you can load up those programs and combis already into banks C and D that are set aside and ready to go, so you don't have to erase any factory sounds when you install the option boards. KORG have thought of that. Right, KARMA real-time controls. These controls here are not found on any other keyboard. 8 knobs, 3 switches, some more switches and trigger buttons down here. What do they do? That's a very good question. Let's start by playing a simple sound piano. See how I can lean into the keys using aftertouch. Triggers off a pattern. In that case, it's a bit like an arpeggio pattern, but most of KARMA's generated effects are not like arpeggios. Here's another one. A synthesizer sound. I'll take MIDI out of here, we don't need that for the moment. A synthesizer sound. Turn KARMA function on. New notes and changes to the sound you'll hear. There's panning, there's filtering going on. Another sound. Let's have a look at a drum. Let's have a look at a drum kit. Play the drum kit just like you would on any keyboard that has drums on it, if you want, but we can go further. Turn KARMA on, and let's try changing the pattern using the real-time controllers here. if I touch the F5 button just under the display here, it's labelled KARMA Real-Time Controls. If I touch that, now the display tells me what these knobs and switches are doing. 8 of them all up, plus the scene button. So, for example, knob number 1, it tells me it controls rhythm complexity. And switch number 1. Knob number 1, switch number 1. Rhythm complexity. So, let's see what happens. And bring it back. Now these ones. And this one. So, KARMA's real-time controls let you make changes to the music while it's playing. Nothing else has ever allowed you to do this before. And, for example, we'll call up another drum kit here. A fast way to change these knobs is to use the scene switch. A scene is a setting of these knobs and switches. That's all. So if I have one setting here, that's one scene, and press the button, choose another setting with knobs and switches, that's another scene. And I can just flick between them while hitting the button there. Oh, lost volume there. You can store your own scenes into every program and every combination on KARMA. All you have to do is press the right button over here, and as soon as you press the right button, you will store the program into. Yeah, there we go. Press the right button, and you can choose to store the program into memory, and your own scenes will be stored with it. So that's important because KARMA is not just about preset patterns, it's about manipulating the music the way you want it. It's about making the music come out as your music. So you can store your own scenes here as part of the patch. If you want to get deeper into the menus, programming KARMA, that's very easy as well. Let's call up a different sound, maybe a guitar sound. Funky guitar? Scene button. Now the knobs. whole guitar part. It got really busy there for a while as I moved the knobs around, did some things that a real guitarist would actually find very hard to do. And then I made it simpler again and ended up just how we started. This is the sort of thing you can do with KARMA. KARMA uses generated effects. And the generated effects, each generated effect is like a little MIDI processor. There are over 1,000 of them inside KARMA. Over 1,000. The first 30 are like regular arpeggios, and after that the other 1,000 plus are not like arpeggios at all. They're much more complex patterns that you can then go and vary yourself. So let's call up something else again. Maybe a bass sound, for example. A synth bass sound, and we can choose to use a KARMA function, either one that's been set up from the factory to go with this sound, or you can choose another one if you like. And let's move up here to synthesizer sound, turn KARMA on. Like magic, really. Here's a couple of traditional sounds. Strings, for example. We all need strings at some point, no matter what style of music we're doing. Turn KARMA function on. Notice how KARMA follows me wherever I go on the keyboard. You can even see a readout of what chords you're playing on the display if you want. Let's change to a big organ sound. this sound. This is called Rock Jam, and it's inviting you with these letters here, minus Y, plus Y, switch to. It's inviting you to use the joystick over here. That's X and Y movement of the joystick here. So let's do a bit of rock jamming, and I'm going to use the joystick, and I'm also going to use some of the other KARMA real-time controls. Turn KARMA on. That one's a bit like AC/DC, a great Aussie hard rock band, hey? Now, did you hear what was happening there with this two different scenes, two different positions of the real-time controllers? The first one lets the drum pattern run round and round like this. But the other scene starts the pattern again every time I play the keyboard. That's one of the things you can set up for yourself if you get inside the KARMA controls that are available in edit mode. So KARMA is all about being able to customize the patterns that are available to you as much as possible so that the music you make is your own music. I don't want to make your music, you have to make your music, okay? That was Rock Jam. Let's play some techno. Yeah, and further. This is a sound called Gladiator, and it's a perfect one to show off these chord trigger buttons. Okay, 4 of them. Now, you can program your own chords, assign your own chords into these 4 buttons. We'll just play a chord here, assign 1. There it is. Play another chord, assign 2. Play another chord, assign 3. Play another chord, assign 4. Turn KARMA on. Now the display invites us again to use plus and minus X and Y. That means the joystick. All directions of the joystick. Plus and minus X, plus and minus Y. So on this sound we're going to use the joystick to turn some KARMA modules on and off. And this is a combination, so there are 4 KARMA modules here, all ready to make music for us. Okay? 4 KARMA modules, one for drums, one for bass, one for keyboards, and one for a synthesizer part. You could choose your own sounds, of course. But this one, let's see what happens. Down to drums only now. Down this way. Whoops. And we haven't moved it down yet. Down actually re-triggers everything from the start. Not bad, huh? Now, here's an orchestral sound. KARMA can help you think like other musicians. And sometimes that's hard to do, I know. This time KARMA is going to think like an orchestra, or a string orchestra. Play a melody up the other end of the keyboard while this is going on down here. No problem. Now, here's something completely different. Now, at first it seems that KARMA's just repeating patterns over and over again, but you see me using the real-time controls, so you know that's not right. It's not like a sequence pattern, it's not like an arpeggiator, okay? The difference is that you can make changes to the music while the music's playing. So if I start that drum pattern again, no drum machine can do this, okay? No regular sequencer can do it, no arpeggiator can do it, only KARMA can do this. no doubt you'd like to do some sequencing and songwriting with KARMA. Well, I certainly do. So, is it possible? Well, yes, of course. You can use KARMA's onboard sequencer, or you can use any MIDI sequencer, any computer sequencer. I happen to have Cubase set up over here. So, but whatever is your choice, that's up to you. Now, a couple of things to be aware of when you're sequencing with KARMA. And that is, if you want to record all the real-time knobs and switches here, chord trigger buttons, you can assign your own controller numbers to them. From the factory, however, all of these are turned off, so what you have to do is go to global mode and make sure they're assigned to any MIDI controllers. Okay, that's easy. Just go to global mode and touch the utility tab, which is F8 here. Sorry, not the utility tab, the menu button. Menu button, okay? And under the menu button, you'll see up on the screen controllers here. And when you open that page, you'll see tabs to set up switches and KARMA functions, and I've assigned all these KARMA functions to their own MIDI controller number, so everything that I do will be recorded on the MIDI sequencer. Okay? So we're recording MIDI here, we're not recording audio, but you can do that too, of course. So set up these MIDI controllers, and once you've done that and you save global into memory, then you don't have to do it again. It's just a once only thing that you have to do. So that's easy. Then go back to the MIDI page in global mode. We're still in global mode. Go to the MIDI page, and you can set MIDI clock to external if you want your MIDI sequencer to control the timing, which of course that's the normal way of working. Set MIDI clock to external. Now normally when you're sequencing, you would set the local control to off. However, if you want to record all the extra MIDI information that KARMA's MIDI processors generate, then you must leave local control on. Okay? Okay? Okay! So, this is the biggest mistake that people make. They say, but KARMA's not recording all the extra notes. Well, it will as long as you leave local control on, just while you're recording KARMA functions. Okay? Okay! Okay! So, onwards and upwards. Onwards to recording. Now, as you're flicking through combinations and programs, you will, of course, find heaps that are really inspiring and make you want to write a song. Here's one here. It's B118 tripletta. You can take that to sequence mode and copy everything into the first 8 tracks of sequence mode. Sequence mode is not just for internal sequencing. Sequence mode is also for external sequencing from a computer. Okay, so the best mode to go to if you want 16 timbres, up to 16 MIDI channels from an external sequencer, go to sequence mode, even if you're using a computer. Under utility button there is a copy from combi function, and if you copy from combi, you can copy everything from your favorite combi into the sequence mode, ready to go. And that means all I have to do is start recording on Cubase and everything will be recorded just like magic. And all my actions up here will be recorded at the same time. So let's give it a go, shall we? Let's just turn around here. KARMA MIDI channel 1 is enabled. I go to record. first track. Stop recording, and just to check that it is in fact all there, let's play it back to the start of the track. Sorry, starting to play back once again. Here we go. So remember, leave local control on in global mode to enable recording of all the KARMA notes. Now I'm going to switch back to combi mode to record this part, and go to record on Cubase. Recording. Stop recording. There we have it. And for playing back, go back to the start of the sequence. Everything will be so, stop playing. All my KARMA real-time knob movements have been recorded as well. Now, in sequence mode, we can set up track 9 to record the next part on, MIDI channel 9, because we've copied a combi over to sequence mode, right? And the combi takes up the first 8 tracks of the sequencer. Maybe it doesn't always take up 8 tracks, but with KARMA functions it might take up nearly all of the first 8 tracks. So we'll go on to track 9. On the next track of the sequencer, second track of the sequencer, that's set up for MIDI channel 9. And I'll choose a lead synthesizer sound to play over the top there. And we're just going to record again from the start of the track. Stop recording. We have now second channel of the sequencer ready to go, playing back both of them. See? So, now it's just a matter of going on ahead and selecting track 10 on KARMA, next MIDI channel on the sequencer, and away you go. Keep on adding tracks and editing as you like. That's a very simple guide as to sequencing with an external sequencer with KARMA. Yes, you can do it. This has been just a quick introduction to the KARMA. I hope you've enjoyed it. And remember, when you're playing the KARMA, play with the real-time controls. That's what makes KARMA different to anything else. You can change the music while the music's playing. Nothing else has this variability, this intelligence. Let me play you just a couple more sounds. It's been great to be with you for this few minutes. I hope I can come back to Korea again because I've really enjoyed it. Again, my name's John Grant, and you can email me if you really want to. Just be aware that my Korean language is not so good. My email address is jgkorg@yahoo.com.au. Let me say that again. jgkorg, one word, at yahoo.com.au. And AU stands for Australia, of course. 감사합니다.